Get out the fucking car! Get out the fucking car right now! Yes, get out now!
I got you. Yeah, I will defend my brothers. I will defend the weak. I will pursue and fight evil so others may sleep. I am the sheepdog, protecting the night. Wolf hunters unite. Bring it on. It's time to fight.
What's up, guys? Mike the Cop, and if you can't tell by the intro already, we are going to be hitting this viral video out of Phoenix. A lot of people have been asking me about it, and I have been waiting. I saw this first about 5 days ago, I think, on the internet, and I've been waiting because the situation is in some parts still a little fluid, and now there's already a $10 million lawsuit involved, and it's all sorts of like little questions that I have about this whole situation that I don't even know that I fully grasp or have all the details on, and I don't know that you do either. So we're gonna try to approach this objectively, and I'm gonna give you my thoughts on that, and that's what they are. They are my thoughts, and you can determine that for yourself. Unlike if you follow someone like Sean King, who's going to force feed you only a particular narrative that he wants you to believe that would be advantageous for him and others. But we'll get to that in a second. If you have not seen the video, here it is.
Police?
Yeah.
It doesn't open. I promise. I promise it doesn't open.
You're gonna get shot! Get your hands off!
Get out the fucking car!
You are gonna
Get out the fucking car right now! Yes, get out now! Get out the fucking car!
You're empty out of the You recording it?
Yeah, I'm recording it.
Put your hands up. I don't give a Put your hands up. Hands up.
I can't put my hands up. I'm fucking big, man. I can't. I'm pregnant. It's overdoing shit. It's overdoing
Hey, shit, break your feet! When I tell you to do something, you do it!
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to decide.
You're not complying with me!
Yes, I am.
When I tell you to do something, you do it!
I am. I'm complying with everything, sir.
Okay, right now, shut your mouth!
Put the other key down. No one else is involved.
What'd you guys just do? I didn't do anything, sir.
Are you okay? Okay. So, you can come get some aid.
When I tell you to
I can't put my hands on my baby. Nigga, it's a fucking
put your time,
Hey, hey! Whoa, sir, come down! What's going on here?
Oh, live here. Attacking a lady, man? Really?
Put the child down.
He didn't walk. He's a baby.
And that's how y'all trick black people, huh?
Can someone just like, defuse the situation here?
Like I said, I saw this about 5 days ago. I saw it when someone linked me to Sean King's Instagram account. I don't follow him, but they sent me, have you seen this? So I went there, and of course he's demanding to know their names and their history and all that stuff because, he's gonna do something about it. Like he's done in the past, where his version of doing something about it is speaking out of complete ignorance and actually perpetuating lies that are putting pressure and problems onto officers who, when the body cam footage and all the details come out, turns out didn't do anything wrong, and he's got egg on his face, but he just kind of wipes that away and sticks it in the virtue signal pond and hopes that isn't seen anymore. I mean, Sean King, right? He's my favorite activist. I digress. The comments on his sharing of the Occupy Democrats video read like a who's who of Instagram verification. We see systemic, historic racism, exhibit 34,536. We'll talk about that in a little bit. I'm shaking, this has to stop. This is not okay, FTP. And the really nice one from DJ Food Stamps, hashtag greenlight, pig emoji. In other words, we should all go kill cops. That's nice. I will be providing a link to the police reports. I will be providing a link to more CCTV footage at the store where this whole shoplifting incident took place. But make no mistake, this video went viral under the auspices that the police simply showed up in force, yelling, swearing, pointing guns because a small child had stolen a doll. That's what everyone was, who was on one particular political spectrum, let's say, or perspective, narrative, pushed out there as if that was the whole story. And almost as always, it's not. Councilman Sal, I'm not sure how to say his last name, DeCiccio, sorry, Councilman. He put out a statement that I really appreciated, and I think that is a good guide for us to walk through this together real quick before I give you my final thoughts. He said, while the media has created a narrative that this was a, quote, child shoplifting stop, video from the store appears to show both adults stealing. Further, the viral video being used to paint a negative picture of the Phoenix Police Department doesn't tell the whole story. It's like reading the last page of a book and assuming you know everything that happened in the previous chapters. Here's what happened, and I challenge anyone, media, politicians, the public, to dispute the timeline of events. Here we go. 1. A call came in regarding a theft from a store. Officers responded. 2. Upon arrival, the responding officer was alerted to another theft from the same store. 3. During this second theft, store video confirms additional items were taken by multiple adult suspects, including both the adults present during the stop. 4. Suspects were identified and police approached the individuals while in their vehicle at the store parking lot. Officers gave multiple commands to the driver of the suspect's vehicle to exit the vehicle. 6. Despite lawful orders, the vehicle took off and stopped a short distance away. Very important. At this time, number 7, a single female passenger exited the vehicle and surrendered to police. Number 8, driver proceeded to continue to ignore lawful police orders and took off once again, coming to a stop approximately 1 mile away. The female passenger, number 9, who originally exited the vehicle, confirmed that she heard the orders and asked the driver to stop, then asked to be let out of the vehicle. Let me pause there, go back to number 8 again. Driver proceeded to continue to ignore lawful police orders and took off once again, coming to a stop approximately 1 mile away. The video you are watching, if you read the sort of the so-called headlines or the captions that this was all about a child stealing a doll, you are left with the impression in your mind that, oh, this is the cops responding to the store, and this is happening at the store where they're trying to stop this, young child. That's what they're doing, and they're pulling their guns and yelling and cursing. That's what you would think. That's what they want you to think. That's not what happened. Number 10, vehicle was identified and followed by a second police unit, which was waiting for assistance from additional units before activating the emergency lights and initiating the stop. Vehicle turned into an apartment complex and stopped, causing the tailing police unit to initiate contact, and the first officer called the suspects out of the vehicle, while the second officer, per policy, remained in a defensive location with his service weapon in the ready position but not aimed. This is a different kind of stop. Now that the vehicle has fled the location, disregarding lawful commands to not do so after being involved in the commission of a crime verified on video, this is a different situation, taking place more than a mile away from where the crime occurred and under the dangerous conditions of now conducting a vehicle stop with known criminals who have fled the scene of said crime. 12. Once all the passengers had exited the vehicle and officers could see that they were not armed, the second officer returned his service weapon to his holster, again per policy. 13. The female passenger admitted to police upon being detained that she could hear the officer in the parking lot ordering them to exit the vehicle and that the driver ignored these orders and fled. Number 14. Both the driver and female passenger admitted to having shoplifted items from the store. Number 15. Driver and passenger additionally admitted to tossing stolen items out of the car as they drove away. And I literally, guys, I can't say it any better than this. I'm literally just going to read the councilman's words before I give my opinion. While the video shows the conclusion of the incident looks bad, the only element of this arrest which appears to be out of policy is the use of foul language during the incident, which is unfortunate but hardly unusual in a charged situation. Unfortunately, the narrative being painted is that this was a stop involving a 4-year-old child rather than an apparent crime committed by adults who put their children in harm's way by bringing them to a criminal activity. The actions of these officers appears to be entirely in line with policy. There was no use of excessive force. The stop was lawful. Police were responding to a crime and engaged in a heightened response due to the actions of the driver in failing to comply with lawful demands and driving away from the original scene. This constant barrage of attacking of our officers in the end puts all our law-abiding citizens at risk, as well as the officers charged with protecting us. Some have claimed that because this was only a shoplifting incident, that police should have approached the traffic stop less aggressively. That narrative completely ignores the fact that the driver was ordered to stop by police, chose to ignore those orders, and fled the scene. Officers who conducted the stop weren't merely responding to a shoplifting case, they were now responding to a shoplifting case where the suspect had also demonstrated that they were willing to ignore lawful orders of officers on the scene. Under that circumstance, it would be the height of irresponsibility and incredibly dangerous for officers to respond without taking extra defensive measures. They could not treat this incident as a minor traffic stop without putting both their lives and potentially the lives of other members of the public at risk. So once again, what looks bad on camera is left with these gaps for people to just fill in the blanks themselves, connect the dots themselves, to paint a scenario and a situation and a response that they are completely ignorant of. And I don't say ignorant to slight anyone who doesn't understand what they're seeing on camera. I say that in the very technical sense. You just don't know. So why jump on and literally say, you know, F the police or green light the police? And why make a lie that this was all about stopping a small child from shoplifting? It's a blatant lie. It's not even true. For those who perpetuate this and share this in that way, shame on you. Shame on you. You are perpetuating a false narrative that puts officers at risk and that puts normal, ordinary people in the community at risk too. So you just need to stop that. And it's shameful. It's illogical. It's weak. But enough about that. What do I actually think about this scenario? As I look at the video and what everyone else was saying, then I look at what the councilman says and sort of like some of the facts of that. I'm not trying to tell you what to think. I'm trying to tell you what I think. First is that I think that this is not about race at all, even though people would want to say that it's about race. That was the first comment that caught my attention on Sean King's post, that this is institutional racism. That is silly. That would be like saying race made them steal. Did the color of their skin make them steal from a store items that weren't necessary to life? Did the color of their skin make them get in the car and flee the scene knowing that there was cops there telling them to stop? Did the color of their skin make them do that? Well, then stop acting like the color of the officer's skin or the color of their skin made the officers respond to a crime. The cops didn't call themselves there and be like, let's go find some minorities stealing today. That's not how it worked. So pulling the race card is inappropriate and unhelpful. Now, the actual response, I look at this situation and think, okay, how could this be done better? It's a crazy situation. If there is a kid present, but you have someone in a vehicle who, and another report says that someone reached toward the center console. So when they were giving them commands to let me see your hands, show me your hands, one of the people in the vehicle actually reached toward the center console. This is dangerous. And yes, there's kids involved, but yes, lives are at stake. It's not an easy situation to handle. Now, what we are in control of as officers is our ability to control our mouths and our ability to control sort of our tone and how we're handling ourselves, even in those tense situations. Are we going to do that with perfection? No. I've been guilty of that. I was written up in a tense situation for swearing. Just like everything else that I did was fine, but hey, it is what it is. It's against policy. So you're supposed to conduct yourself with professionalism, even in the most tense of times. And that's just one of the natures of those highly charged situations, is sometimes You don't have that perfect control. And I would say that, yeah, I could criticize those guys for that. Tactically, you know, could they have approached the vehicle in a different way? How they approached it? Yeah, we can look at that and we can go back and do that. But the point is, were they responding to a vehicle with appropriate use of force? Yes. Yes, they have to have their weapons ready, because now we don't have just a showing up to a shoplifting. We have showing up to a shoplifting, identifying people that were involved, those people disregarding commands, fleeing the scene, dumping out items, and then again ignoring commands at the end. So we could beat that horse to death. I don't want to do that. The bottom line is the force was appropriate. Their attitudes, you know, they're sort of where they were at on the escalation de-escalation scale verbally. Do I think that was perfect? Nope, I don't. Do I understand why they sort of were highly charged? Yes, I do. Would I like to see them be able to bring that down verbally? Yes. But here's what you have to understand. What you were seeing was the end of the situation. Only the end. You didn't see anything else in the video. You only saw the ultimate conclusion. The last 2 minutes of a several minute, if not longer, situation. And you have people recording and saying like, well, he didn't have to do that. They don't know what's going on. They don't know why those people pulled into that lot. They don't know what happened before. They have no clue. So the idea that they are going to be able to, from cell phone footage at this place, determine the appropriate police response is asinine. I feel like I'm droning a little bit. I apologize if it comes off that way in the final video, but that is the objective reality of the situation. So again, I have feelings of pro and con in terms of the actual response given everything, but you look at one side, what they said, and you look at the objective facts of the situation, and it's not what they purported it to be at the beginning. And I don't expect an apology or a correction anytime soon from Sean King or anyone who buys into those narratives without thinking for themselves. If you are still around at the very end of this video, don't forget, please go to the App Store or Google Play and download Sheepdog Nation. It is an app, law enforcement, military, all first responders, pro-Second Amendment lovers, pro-common sense thinkers about all cultural issues. Instead of being a sheep and being force-fed the pop narrative of the day by big platform social media, take control of that, become a citizen of the nation. And I have a group in there called the Pig Pen. I would love for you to join me there for exclusive content and interaction. All right, later.